Good Tuesday evening. Hope you had a wonderful day in the Lord, and I hope you're nice and tired like I am. Woo! Proverbs 10, because today is September 10th, and we are remembering those from 18 years ago, the victims of 9/11. How do I remember the year or so? Because it happened the year of my son's birth. He was 2 months, 2 months old at the time, and so many of us can remember where we were when those towers were hit. So we're remembering those families, victims, and we're still praying for the survivors in the Bahamas. And we're just asking the Lord to have mercy, give direction, and for us to be open hands and open hearts so that we can bless those who have been impacted. I was speaking to someone recently, and I don't know if you've been in meetings where, the dynamics are so interesting when some people, have triple agendas and double agendas, and they want to prove how much, they know, and they don't have the best interest of the goal or the vision or the project at hand. They just want to promote themselves. And I was telling this person, listen, if someone tries to front you off or in private or whatever, you see that they're trying to, pump themselves up and subtract you down, right? To multiply themselves up, that type of strange math. And in Proverbs 10, it talks about the mouth, the lips, the tongue, how you don't have to respond to everything, right? And there are so many scriptures in that chapter, verse 11. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, right? You speak life. You don't contribute to that darkness and the dead sayings, right? But the violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. You don't partake in that. Hatred stirreth up strifes. In the lips of him that have understanding, wisdom is found. People are looking for those in those type of teams or meetings. You don't have to be the one that's always talking. And as a matter of fact, in verse 19, it says, in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin, right? When someone talks too much, it's just easy to find the holes and the gaps. And they're probably apt to trip up because they're not thinking. They're just, their mouth is just rolling like a river. But he or she that refraineth, that holds their tongue, that puts a halt or a pause, that person is wise. That is a lesson for all of us. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. And that goes into that very famous verse, the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow in it. And that is referenced in Genesis 24:35 also, and talking about Abraham. The Lord have blessed my master greatly. He has become great. He had given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and men servants and maidservants and camels and asses. But guess what? The riches of life are the wisdom of the Lord, right? Nothing can compare. No rubies, no gold, no silvers, none of that. Jewels, none of that. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, but the destruction of the poor is their poverty. What is the true riches of life is the fear of the Lord. Amen. We are in 2 Samuel, and it is paralleling today's date, September 10th. And it talks about a very strange story where, David was rich at this time, right? He was king and he was popular, and he was showing kindness to someone who looked out for him. It was the king of the children of Ammon. Well, he died and his son became the leader, and David, wanted to send gifts and condolences, and the people, some of the princes were like, David's not sending his men over here to bless us. He's trying to spy and to, see what's going on, to search out the city. That's in verse 3. And what those people did is they took David's men and shaved half of their beards. Now, I don't know if it's the top half of the beard or was it the right or the left, but anyway, they did that to humiliate David's men. And not only that, they cut off the bottom part of the men's clothing so that, yeah, their buttocks, everything was showing. And that's in verse 4. So, of course, David snapped. He was like, oh, no, this is not going to happen. And David sent for his captain Joab, and Joab sent for his brother. And they divided the teams. Then in the meantime, the other people, Ammonites, hired some other people to fight Syrians. And it's in verse 6. And the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David, so they called into array Syrians of Sobah and of Rehob and Ishtab and Makkah were themselves in the field. They said, we could come help us fight. But pretty much what happened, verse 18, David slew the men of 700 chariots of the Syrians and 40,000 horsemen, and they died. So what am I saying? Is they were paranoid. They thought that David had mixed motives. And no, David was trying to bless others. So what am I saying? Let's use our ears more than our mouth. And let's not just listen to hearsay and gossip. Let's try the spirits and ask the Lord, is this you? Do they have pure intentions? Or am I being part of the problem? Because you don't want half of your beard, half of your body, half of your clothes cut off. You want to be whole so that you can bless others at all times. Have a wonderful evening in the Lord. Enjoy his many blessings and get good rest.